Okay, so I wanted to talk about a gentleman who is on Bible. He was on a Bible channel, and I actually agree with what he's saying. He says there's no safe level of alcohol intake. I agree with that. I do actually agree with that. I know it sounds crazy, but I do agree with that. Although I don't like to be a stick in the mud either. So, in that regards of conversation, it has everything to do with a person drinking alcohol and what they're willing to risk. So, an example is living the box life. This is a box. It's actually more like a rectangle. Of living a straight-laced, like there are people out there who can go without drinking alcohol. And they live a fulfilled life. However, there are the people who like to, I call it partying, but it's really not the kind of partying that people, I don't like to party anymore, but I used to party a lot and I used to drink a lot. And the gentleman called it a carcinogenic, which is true. It is. It actually breaks down your cell walls. It causes distortion of reality. It can put you in dangerous situations. So there, even the most little bit of alcohol. So it is always based on the person ingesting the alcohol and their responsibility levels of what they're willing to battle, how much they're willing to ingest, how much accountability. This is all has everything to do with alcohol. Can you trust, can you trust the person sitting in front of you? Are you discovering who they actually are when they drink alcohol? Watching, this is actually a really good tool for not only Hollywood, but also for, well, specifically politics, to watch someone and how much they drink and how they act when they're on alcohol. So it's actually can be used as a weapon against somebody who you're trying to uncover, which is why they're all trying to sell mocktails. They're also trying to dry out the fun in life. See, you can have alcohol with someone who is trustworthy, fun, and drink it in moderation and still break your cell walls down. And you could actually look at that in the form of muscle, building a muscle. And I'll say that because the more you drink, the more you can consume and stay sober. That's why people who are alcoholics consume more and more and more and more and more and more. You can also take a look at alcohol as a form of medication. Instead of getting on Klonopin, you can get on a sip of whiskey. So one of the things and the reasons we're here in this world is to have playful fun and being jovial. And alcohol can also do that for you, for people who are stuck up, who are insecure. Does it actually create security? Does it create a more confident version of you when you're not on alcohol? No, it actually does the opposite. You can get really wasted at the Christmas party and you will show a side of you at your job that you didn't want people to see. And then you go back to Monday at work and you're like completely humiliated on what you said and what you did. So alcohol is definitely something that we should not ban, because it's also, you could look at it as a CIA operative move to tell you, without you having to look very hard, who a person is. So this particular person wasn't saying that you needed to ban alcohol. He was just telling you that there's no real safe level of alcohol. That's all he was saying. But see, even putting that out into the internet, into people's listening ears, it puts a stopper in people and getting educated on to take better care of themselves. And the devil doesn't like that. Because alcohol will also get people in fights. It'll make people angry. It'll make people frustrated. It will make people do all these really bad things to other people. And the devil likes that shit. The devil likes liars, and alcohol will get people to lie. So that's why it is based all upon how much you drink, how often you drink. So it's very complex. Which alcohol that you do drink. So it could be beer gives you a different vibe than whiskey. Whiskey gives you a different vibe than bourbon. Wine gives a different vibe than vodka. Vodka is different than rum. Your body reacts to each alcohol differently. Your personality shifts. And within the bottle, your personality shifts within the bottle. So you might like Captain Morgan rum, or you might like Grey Goose vodka. But when you drink Captain Morgan rum, you act different than if you were on Grey Goose vodka. And then within the wine world, if you drink a bottle of wine from France, it's different than drinking a bottle of wine from California and a bottle of wine from New Zealand. Within the bottle of wines from the countries, there's the soil, there's the weather, there's the grape, there's the varietal of the year. This is why this is all so complex. So when you see a sommelier, they're not just a sommelier, they're very, very educated. For the most part, they used to be. However, now it seems as if a lot of people are they don't get interested in that conversation. They are just looking to get paid. It's like really, it's a boring existence. Within the bottles of wine of varietal year and all those things, it has everything also to do with the winery, of who's running the winery, of who is making the wine, and their attachment to the passion of the actual building of the wine. And then the processing of the wine that goes into the box, and then the person that grabs the wine and takes it from point A to point B in the shipping company. It gives it a tweak. And then when it gets put on the shelf at the store, another minor shift can occur. It's why a lot of people like to go to Wine Library, because there's a specific energy that comes out of Wine Library that gives wine a feeling that can be altered by who attends events at Wine Library or who's in the family. And then upon that, it depends on who is in the family who's interested in the wine. It could be somebody who is just kind of interested. And they're like, well, they're kind of fun anyway. And they're like, well, I like this wine, and we're going to try this wine, and we're going to try this one, and we're going to try this wine. Or it could be someone who's like, ugh, I really don't like wine, and they purchase the wine. And then who pours the wine? And then what's being spoken about, or the energy in the room, can shift and change. All these things are subtleties of what we deal with wine that is literally in the world around us. That nobody understands. Nobody gets it, because you're all moving as if you're in some speed race. And then you're like, oh, well, I know all about wine. Oh, I had a glass of wine once in 1989. Well, that doesn't really count. So you don't have an opinion on wine because you don't enjoy wine. So sit over there and be quiet. So some people pretend around wine, and then the wine will tell a story during dinner or whatever.